Hey everybody. So I thought that I would give you a little update. I have been working on this little recipe tag album and I've been posting the pages for it on Instagram in the form of reels and in the Adorn It website. So I thought that I would show you on YouTube how far I've gotten, and we're going to make 2 new tags for my recipe album using these little goodies up here, but I'll show you those in a second. So the first one is tea party cakes, and then the back, and this paper is available from Adorn It too. And then we have this cute little mushroom soup one, just a plain background. And then these are the last 2 I made. The pumpkin pecan coffee cake. Actually, you know what, guys? I've made this coffee cake now twice, and it's delicious. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then this one I added a little stamped image to the back of the tag. And then the turkey noodle soup. And then the back has the rest of the recipe. I love this one because it's like in a jar and you can give it away as a gift. So cute. So that's how far I've gotten on my recipe tag album. I'm super excited to finish this up. So I have a larger tag in the front, and I'm actually going to make a little title page that'll say like recipes or something for the front. And then this is the largest tag. And then we'll have all the smaller tags with the recipes on the inside. And then my plan is to have like a back piece that will have another kind of large tag on it too. So that's where I'm going with this. And I'm just filling it in with these recipes as I get my products from Adorn It. So the newest recipes are gingerbread recipes. They're so cute. Let me grab the stamps. I'll show you the stamps. I'll show you which images I used and how I colored them and all the fun stuff. So the first stamp that I used is the Giant Ginger Cookies stamp set. So I stamped out the big recipe from this stamp set. Then this is one of the add-on stamp sets. I stamped out this little cookie stamp and the little rolling pin up here. And then I did this gingerbread sign from this stamp set. And in the description box below, I will link up the stamp sets that I use. In fact, I will link all of the stamp sets because they're all amazing and awesome. So I did the giant gingerbread cookie recipe all in pink. I colored these with my Zig markers, and then I went ahead and I added some white pen detail and also some glossy accents. And then I did these kind of 3 supporting images to add to my recipe tag. So I did this little gingerbread sign, and I added the white pen detail, the little rolling pin with a little pink heart, and then I did the little cookie jar with the little rolling pin and the little bottle of ginger. So these are so cute. I love them. I colored all of these with my Zig markers. I'll kind of pull this in so you can get a really good look at the images that I colored. There you go. Let me grab the Zig markers I used. So in case you have Zigs and you want to recreate using the colors that I have, you can. So for the gingerbread, so all the gingerbread, I used brown, beige, and oatmeal. So the brown was my darkest color. The beige I used as my mid-tone, and then I used the oatmeal for my lightest color. And then for the cookie, so just for the cookie, I just got rid of that darkest brown, and I colored the cookie using oatmeal and beige and my water brush. So I just did the outside edge with the beige, then blend it out with the oatmeal, then blend it out again with my water brush. For the pink shades on my gingers, I used a light carmine for my dark color. and Sugared Almond Pink for my light color or mid-tone, and then I used a water brush to blend it out from there. For this darker brown, I didn't want my wood browns, as it were, to look like my gingers. I wanted the gingers to have that kind of red baked sort of look. So for these three here, I used dark brown and mid brown. I started with the dark brown and then I blended out with the mid brown. And for the two rolling pins, I added a little bit of water with my water brush to kind of blend them out a little bit more and create a bit of a highlight. But for this one, because this was so fiddly, I just did it with the straight color. I didn't put any water on that one. And then for all the white pieces where I wanted the white, but I wanted a little bit of shadow, I just used light gray. So that's how I colored these all up, all the different colors I used, all the different stamps, and that will be the first recipe tag we're gonna put together today. For the second recipe tag we're gonna put together today, I used this stamp set, which is Ginger Mix in a Jar. So it has both of the stamps. There's like the main recipe, and then there's a little tag very similar to what the chicken noodle soup recipe is like. So I used both of these. Then on the giant ginger cookie, there's this little ginger cookie up here. So I stamped that a couple times and made two little ginger cookies. And then actually, you know what? I may have used from this one too, but I think they're almost the exact same gingerbread man. I used this one up in the top left on this stamp set, and I also used this cute primitive heart. I haven't inked up this one yet. And then on this stamp set, I just used the ginger bottle that's right here. So I decided to do this one all in blues, and in addition to adding a little bit of white pen detail, I also went with a little bit of sparkle on these images. So I just took some crystal stickles and kind of made them glittery, really cute. I think they turned out gorgeous. I love this little cookie with a little bit of sparkle in the middle. And then I put some glossy accents on the little ginger bottle too. So colors for these. I used the same three colors for the gingers. So I used brown and oatmeal and beige for the gingers. And then for the kind of cream color that I used on the tags, I went with a light beige and natural beige. So natural beige is darker, and then I blended out with the light beige. I used some olive green just on the tips of the little blanket or little tea towel, and with the ginger cookies. And for the white, where I just wanted a little bit of shadow, I went ahead and used light gray again. The little box crate here, that was the mid brown and the dark brown, and then I blended out with a water brush. And for all of the blues, I started with light blue, and then I used some cobalt blue and a little bit of cornflower blue. So I used these as my light color, my mid-tone, and then my dark on some of the elements, but a lot of these elements were very tiny. So for a lot of them, what I did was I just colored in one color and then blended out with a just barely wet water brush. So I didn't want that color to spread too much, so I was really, really careful. And I just blended it out a little bit with just a barely wet water brush. And so this will be our second tag. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some papers that I think will look nice with these colored images, and then we'll speed up the video and make some tags. So I went ahead through my paper pad collection and I grabbed a couple I'm showing you here that had some patterns that I thought coordinated and matched and looked really nice with my ginger recipes. And anything that I can find links for, I will link up in the description box below. If you are watching this on Sunday morning when this goes live, the Honeybee website is having a 30% off sale on everything in stock. So I will link up Honeybee's website for those paper pads if I can find them, if they're still available and you're interested. I will also go ahead and link up all of the stamp sets from Adorn It that I have used. So I do all of my tags pretty much the same way, create them pretty much the same way. And I put this stamp down and hold the stamp with my finger so that I'm getting the width right. And then I usually leave the length at 6 inches. So all of my tag lengths are 6 inches, but the widths vary depending on my stamp and how much width the stamp set needs. Then I use my little mini trimmer. I hack off a corner, take that corner, put it on the other side. That way my tag is symmetrical. And then I punch a hole in the middle and I just eyeball it. I am inking everything up using some Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo and a domed ink blending pad. Next, I add a pattern paper layer if I so desire. For my gingerbread tags, I did decide I wanted a little bit more interest and that I wanted to have a fun kind of extra layer of pattern on my tag since I was using a pretty versatile background paper for these tags. So for this side of this tag, I'm going to put my pattern paper at an angle and I'm putting that pattern paper at the top part of my tag, and then I'm just going to trim around and punch my hole and then go ahead and ink up the edges. And I'm just going to trim off this, and I still have a little scrap of that pretty pattern that I can use for something else. I want these tags to be really nice and thick and stable because I want to make and use these recipes. And so I know I'm going to flip through this album quite often. So between my patterned papers, I am putting a layer of Brutus Monroe's Not Your Mama's cardstock. This cardstock is really thick. It is heavy. It's beautiful, gorgeous. It is seriously, I want Brutus Monroe to make this cardstock in a 12 by 12 because that would be fabulous. I so want them to make this cardstock in 12 by 12 or to acquire this cardstock in 12 by 12 because it is so heavy and so thick and so amazing. I will link it in the description box below. If you are someone who has projects, maybe you make 3D projects like gift bags or things like that, this cardstock would be so fabulous for those type of applications because it is so nice and heavy and sturdy. So I always put a layer of this cardstock between my pattern paper layers on my tags. And I do it the same way. I attach the tag to the cardstock, trim around it, punch the hole, and then ink it up with the Distress Oxide ink. Once I have the nice thick kind of center part of my tag, I'm going to go ahead and add the back piece. Sometimes I just added pattern paper to the back of my tags, but as I have gotten more of these recipes, some of them have like a 2-piece where you have one piece that is you put it in a jar like for gifting, and then you have a second piece that tells you how to use it. And so I want to have both of those. When I started getting those types of recipes, I went ahead and started putting a little bit of decor on the back of the tags. And I have to say, they turned out really pretty, and I really like them like that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the pattern paper. So we have, I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself, we have 3 layers on these tags on each of my recipe tags. We have 2 layers of like thinner pattern paper. It's not super thin, but it is on the thinner side, and then a nice heavy core to these tags, which makes them nice and sturdy and substantial. And then I use 2 different types of adhesives. I use my tape runner, and then I also use wet glue. I use the tape runner to hold everything in place quickly while the wet glue dries, and I use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive wet glue just for extra adhesive. I want to make sure that these tags are not going to come apart. Because I did my tag on an angle on the front, I decided I would do that on the back as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this little 6x6 pattern paper at an angle, and then I'm going to trim off the back. I love Honey Bee Stamps pads. They have the best paper pads. So if you head over to the website, even if the exact ones that I used aren't available anymore, trust me, I will link you to all their paper pads, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I love their paper pads. Even if it's after the 31st and you miss the sale, you can still use my link in the description box and check out their paper. I really think they have some of the best crafting paper. I love their patterns. And if you want to make a recipe tag album, having these stamp sets in your stash makes these types of personalized gifts come together really quickly. You could skip the coloring and just stamp the stamps and with black ink, adhere them to these cute little tags, add them to a ring, and give them as a gift. You could give them as a gift and then let someone else have the fun of coloring them. You could also have, you could give this to a child and have the child color them, like I'm thinking like a coloring type of a book. And then the mom or dad would have something that their small child had colored and could keep and have the recipes as part of the recipes that they use in their family. So lots of options. The recipe tags are fabulous for gifts, and the recipes work and are so good. So you will also find the links to all of the recipes in the description box. I have not tried one yet that didn't turn out and wasn't delicious. And some of them have now become like a huge family favorite in my house. I am just lining. I wanted to add some highlights and some extra detail to this tag, but I didn't want to do it in white or black. So I have this really nice, it's kind of like a deep brown, almost a gold kind of marker. It is from Kelly Creates. It's technically calligraphy for hand lettering, but I love the color of it so much that I use it for lots of different things in my scrapbook room, including this. So the back of the tag, I'm just going to add that little gingerbread sign across the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and add that little box. I love this the cookie jar, and then that box that I made, the other box, those stamps, those so cute. Oh my goodness. I think they would be adorable on a card, maybe a card that says "You're so sweet." I think that would be so cute with the little cookie jar. So I'm going to go ahead and just add these stamped elements that I have to the front and back of the tag for a little bit of decor, and then you can see I'm lining the back side of the tag as well. As of now, when I am recording this video, all of the stamps in my tag album currently are available for individual purchase on Adornit's website, but you could also start a subscription and then get a new recipe stamp set every month, which will give you 12 recipes by the end of the year. And it would be a little bit more budget friendly. Let's say that. Be a little bit more budget friendly to do the subscription, and then every month you make your little tag and add it to your little tag album. I know January stamp set is biscuits and gravy. So one of those stamps is the recipe club stamp, and then there's also a recipe add-on stamp every month as well, which is always super cute. So let me catch you up on my tags. I did the exact same thing for this tag. So exactly the way I created the first tag, I created the second tag. And since I walked you step by step through that first one, I thought it would be a little redundant to put all of the second one in the video as well. So I have my tag finished. I just did the pattern paper layers a little bit different. Instead of going at an angle, it went straight across, but the same idea. And so I'm just adding my little elements and recipes to the tag for these gingerbread tags. And you can see here again, doubling up on that adhesive. Want these elements to stay on the tag, really adhered well, so that I can use this album and it can be flipped through and be used. I just love this little crate of gingerbread cookies and the cookie jar. I love them. They are probably my two absolute favorite images on these stamp sets. They were a little bit like, take your time when you color them. So coloring them was really like a labor of love a little bit. They were very kind of fiddly, but the end result was so worth it. They're so cute. I really want to color them up again because I love them. I think they're so adorable. So I'm just tucking these little elements in and around on my tag because I wanted to use all the elements I colored. I did let that one little cookie piece kind of go off the edge, but that's okay because it reinforces the 3 cookies that kind of make a diagonal line on the front of the tag. One more little inked up edge, and I am going to add a doodly border to this tag using a black gel pen from my stash. I love the look. All of my tags have that kind of doodly border or a border in either white ink or black ink or in that brown pen from Kelly Creates, just because I like it. It adds that little bit of homemade kind of touch to the tag that you can see and have in those stamp sets. And then here is my recipe on this little recipe tag. Here, I'm going to give you a little flip through of all the recipes I have right now. I cannot wait for this to be like nice and big and chunky. It's going to look awesome. Here are all of the close-ups of each of these adorable tags that I made today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.